living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michelle Higbee from Nature's Pickins, located on 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown. Phone number at the store is 724-438-4211. The phone number at the show today is 724-438-4593. I'm going to connect with Randy Miles from Bluebonnet, and we're going to be talking about weight loss. Give me a second, though. I'm just going to give you a little thing on Nature's Pickins and what's going on. And also, by the way, I know, and this is like ADD, ADHD. Don't forget the fair opens today, the Fayette County Fair. And, you know, I have family that does 4-H. So please go out and support the fair, support the kids that are doing 4-H. You know, all year round they, raise these animals to sell at the fair and show at the fair and win prizes and so forth. And they put a lot into it. So please go out to the fair and support the fair. A lot of these fairs are not going on anymore, and we are very fortunate to still have ours. So go out and support it. I know I'll be out there quite a few times. Okay, so with that, Nature's Pickins is opened Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, Saturdays 9 to 3. That's Monday through Friday 9 to 4, Saturdays 9 to 3. Our phone number is 724-438-4211, and we are located at 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown, right next to the Dairy Queen. We have Solgar. It's on a full line drive. Bluebonnet we have their targeted choice on sale this month. Solaray has some different things on sale, like the Collagen Bone Complete, which is a really good bone formula. Vitamin C, magnesium glycinates, and a few other things. Natural Factors also has some different things on sale as well. Stop in and check out all the sale products and check out all the new products. We have quite a few new things into the store, so come in and check those out as well. Okay, so Randy and I are going to be talking about weight loss and what you can use to help you with weight loss, including, diet and exercise. That always goes with it as well. But we're going to be talking about some specific things that you could use for weight loss. So don't turn that down. Stay with us and join in on the conversation if you like at 724-438-4593. Maybe you have that secret little weight loss formula that you take, or you have some questions about it. So give us a call at 724-438-4593. Hey, Randy, how's it going today?
Hello, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I know everybody always says, "Oh, I like that guy you got on there from Bluebonnet."
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I talked to you earlier about, I thought, this is still summertime. People are still trying to, lose a few pounds. Maybe they haven't gone on vacation yet. They want to lose those few pounds before they go on vacation, or maybe just in general, since the weather's nice, let's try and lose some weight while we can still get out and maybe walk or run or play golf or whatever. What do you say to that?
I mean, it's definitely on the mind. If you're going to be sitting by the pool, we want to see less of you. So.
That is so true. That is so true. When you look in the mirror and you go, wow, what happened to me now that I'm this age? It's just like, So, yeah, I think everybody has those days where they go, I think I need to lose 10 or 15 pounds. If somebody is thinking that, wouldn't you think the first thing that they should look at is diet, what they're consuming?
Yes, I mean, it comes down to, what you put in your mouth. And, a lot of people, we've talked about this before, will skip breakfast And the whole word breakfast means break fast. And if you don't do that, you kind of set up your body for failure, because now it's going to be in a you're not eating breakfast, so now your body's going to try to catch up on its calories, and that has the propensity of having people starting to overeat if they wait too long, or maybe eating too big a dinner, and then you get also you have too big a lunch, and now you're falling asleep at work, and that lethargy is that making you want to be less active. So I'm always a big proponent of telling people, a big breakfast, those are all free calories. I mean, they're going to use that throughout the day, and that's always the best place to start with a healthy breakfast.
Okay, so when we're looking at a healthy breakfast, what are we looking at? I mean, there's so many diets that are out there. You can look. You and I have talked about the Mediterranean diet before, and the multiple benefits that can be, consumed with doing a Mediterranean diet. There is intermittent fasting diet. There is the keto diet. There's so many different ones. When you're talking a healthy breakfast, what really should we be consuming in this healthy breakfast?
That's the perfect time to actually get your carbohydrates. And I know people like to avoid them, but that's like the best time to, eat your fruit, anything that's a carb. I mean, you actually want protein. Protein's really important as far as slowing down the process of carbohydrate absorption.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to balance those out. And then, healthy fats too. I mean, I got to tell you, I always thought the whole avocado toast was kind of silly until I tried it, and I was like, actually, that's really good. Those are good fats. Those are protein. That's carbohydrates. And I got to tell people, that's your free meal of the day. You're going to use all those calories to be active during the day, to think, to do your work. And that's why it's so important. But yeah, as far as healthy breakfast is concerned, I say keep it simple.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you say keep it simple, can a good healthy protein smoothie type thing be something good to use for breakfast, or would you say more so actually a meal type thing?
You can actually do both.
Okay.
So for instance, the whole purpose of having protein is, yes, muscle integrity. If you have more muscle mass, you burn more calories, so on and so forth, and you want to preserve that. And that's why, protein's important, creatine's important. But at the same time, it also slows down the uptake of those carbohydrates, so they're nice to slow release into your system. So one of my actually favorite things to do is I used to do this actually quite a bit. Was you get oatmeal and you put protein powder in it, so like a vanilla protein powder.
Oh.
And so not only adding like a flavor to it without adding simple sugars. That's a really good, because there's lots of carbs in there and there's a lot of protein, but those are going to be slowly released through the day. That's what the benefit of having protein is. So you can actually do both. It can be just food, but I do like adding protein in the morning. It's the perfect time to do that and in the afternoon.
Okay. So when I mentioned those, there were only 3 of them that I mentioned, but oh my goodness, there's so many. There's the Hampton diet. You could just go on and on. I had a lady one time come in and she's doing the cabbage diet, and I couldn't even imagine that. But if you're looking at the 3 main ones that I said, the Mediterranean diet, intermittent fasting. I have a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, eat within an 8-hour period of time, fast for 16 hours. And then, of course, the Dr. Atkins keto diet. Is there any particular one you like, or are all 3 depending on the person? Because everybody's metabolism is different. I personally, Randy, cannot do. I have tried the all-protein diet, and it just does not function with me very well.
Yeah, it's some of the issues with an all-protein diet is yes, you will lose weight because it makes you go into ketosis, which is it's a little difficult on the kidneys because you're going to be in a ketotic state, which all that means is that there's no carbohydrates, so you're kind of starving your system with carbohydrates. It does work, it does, but like you said, it's not one of those diets that are very pleasant to do short term. You kind of have to stick with it for at least 3 weeks or 4 weeks for it to really kick in. It does work, but at the same time, I don't want people to think that all I ate was bacon and cheese, back in the day when they did Atkins, and that's healthy, because it really isn't.
Yeah.
A good protein source that is important. You can't do it that way. But basically, I tell people, the simplest way to lose weight is the majority of your carbohydrates should be in the morning, and then midday or lunch should be a moderate amount of carbohydrates, and then dinner should be really a very limited amount of carbohydrates, and it should be mostly from greens because they're not, they are carbohydrates, but they're not there's a lot of cellulose in there, so it's not, we don't break that down, but it's still a source. And it's kind of like if you look at a chart, your carbohydrates should be really high in the morning and low in the evening. And that sets up your system into kind of a fasting mode at night because that's when you're going to fix and repair all that. That's where your muscles grow. So you're kind of showing your body like, hey, I want my energy during the day, and then in the evening I don't need as much carbohydrates. So that puts me more in a fat burning state. And of course, there's lots of other things can help with that also.
So, is it true then, from what I'm hearing you say, that breakfast and lunch should be your biggest meals of the day, and supper should be probably your smallest meal of the day, which I think is probably backwards in our society?
It really is. It's like that's exactly how it should be. That's how your body functions. And, if you're starving it for most of the day, then that means your blood sugar is going to be low. And then the only time you store fat is when your blood sugar is too high or your blood sugar is too low. And so if you trick your body into like, okay, I'm basically still fasting, and then now it's noontime or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, now I'm going to eat, your body will have a tendency is like, well, I better store these. I better hold on to these carbs or onto this sugar as best as I can, because you're telling me that you're not going to eat in the morning. So now I'm going to store this as best as I can just in case for later.
Yeah, I call that the starvation diet. I tell people, this goes clear back, I believe, to biblical times, feast or famine.
Yeah.
So if you're starving the body, when it finally gets food, it says, hey, I'm finally getting a meal. I'm going to store all this because I have no idea when I'm going to get the next one.
Yeah, and then, I actually call it the sumo diet. So sumo wrestlers specifically do not eat in the morning and most of the midday. They don't start eating heavy calories till the evening. So it guarantees they put on as much weight as possible.
I didn't know that. Is that how that happens? Wow. I always wondered how they got so big.
That's one of the things that they do. It's called the sumo diet. They specifically, it's the best way to put on pounds is to eat as much as you can in the afternoon instead of in the morning.
Wow. So when you mentioned earlier, you mentioned L-carnitine, and there's specific amino acids and so forth that, a lot of people use during weight loss to help with, I'm going to say, muscle repair and muscle building. Bodybuilders, for example, will use amino acids to help with, building and retaining muscles. Is someone able to use amino acids or any specific amino acids during a weight loss situation?
Yeah, so the whole premise behind amino acids is They're there. You take those in specifically to help promote muscle growth. And so, for instance, if you gain 5 pounds of muscle, you actually burn 500 extra calories a day doing absolutely nothing.
Wow.
And so that's why it's so important. I mean, you're sitting on your couch, you put on 5 pounds of muscle, you're still going to burn 500 extra calories. So imagine you start trimming down some fat, start gaining more muscle mass, you increase your metabolism. That's really where amino acids come into play. They're helping promote that muscle growth and actually help for instance, like BCAA. The whole purpose is for recovery on muscle. So that's why it's important, when you work out, doing a BCAA. And protein powders a lot of times will have that built into those amino acids. And that's kind of where they come into play on that.
So what's the difference when you're talking about protein powders, like the whey protein powder by Bluebonnet? It says a whey protein isolate. What is the difference between an isolate and a non-isolate?
So the isolate and then versus concentrate. So a lot of customers won't look at the label. They'll just say, oh, this one's less expensive, so I'll get this protein. And it's concentrate. So concentrate, your body still has to metabolize, break down into the isolate. So the isolate is the pure form of protein, so your body can use it more readily. And also what's important is looking at the profile to make sure it's a complete protein, because we need those essential isoleucine, leucine, and valine, which those are the branch chain amino acids. Those are basically for exercise performance, reducing muscle fatigue. That's where those kind of build in. And one of the things on protein, they're not all created equal. Yeah, there's plant proteins that are really good too, but generally they need to be a mixture, because some veggie proteins aren't a complete profile. For instance, like pea protein, it doesn't have lysine in it. Where an animal protein is a complete protein, it has all the amino acids in there. So you're getting the protein, which helps slow down the carbohydrate intake into your system, and then you're getting the amino acids like the BCAAs that are helping regrow muscle and muscle integrity.
So if somebody doesn't or can't do a whey protein and they're looking for, say, a plant protein powder, you want to make sure then that it's one that is a combination of different plant type proteins and is a complete plant protein or complete protein also?
Yeah, when you look at your veggie protein, it should be a mixture of different types, because, like I said, like for instance, pea and rice have two different profiles. While they all are protein source, they might not have some of the other things there too. So look for a mixture. It's going to be a more complete protein. Mm-hmm. And also the nice thing about veggie proteins, a lot of times there's more fiber in there, which, again, fiber slows everything down, gives your body a chance to absorb it so your blood sugar doesn't go too high or too low. That's where it comes into play also. Fiber is really important. We've spoken about that too.
Yeah. So when we're looking at the whey protein, of course, and I always tell people this as well, because I really appreciate Bluebonnet's whey protein, because it does come from grass-fed cattle, and it is hormone-free, antibiotic-free, because I personally think that is a good thing. What do you think?
The grass-fed is important. That our protein is actually pretty much an organic protein, but when you get into the isolates and it's a good, clean protein, hormone-free and all that, it is more expensive. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing, and this is just kind of as a consumer, a lot of times you'll see a protein that's less expensive. It's because they use 3/4 of an ounce. Our Bluebonnet's protein is 1 full pound, so it's 16 ounces. So yeah, you might see one that's $5-10 cheaper sitting next to it, but they're the shrinkflation
Yeah.
They took a quarter pound out of it.
Yeah, like they do cereals and chips and everything else. You pick up a bag and there's like a quarter or a third of a bag of potato chips in it now. So let me ask you a question just off the top of your head, and I'm sure you know this anyways. So blue bonnets have 26 grams of protein per serving, per scoop. It is really great tasting. If the listeners out there have not tried the blue bonnet whey protein isolate, this is just a plain one. This is the one that I use, my daughter uses. It's a really good tasting whey protein powder. Stop up the store. We actually have the small one on sale, but stop up and check it out. I think you'd really love it. It makes fantastic smoothies. But 26 grams of protein per serving. Randy, how much protein does a person need a day?
Altogether, you're looking at about 1 gram of protein per kilogram. And so let's say the 75 kilogram person or 50 kilogram person, that's the general rule of it. You can go up on that, but I always tell people, remember, it's a supplement, not a replacement. So you want to add protein to your diet, but you also want to eat healthy proteins too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the general rule per kilogram.
Okay. All right. What else was I going to ask you about protein? There was something else. I'm sorry. Oh, so these people that are using sometimes these protein drinks, they're drinking 2 protein drinks a day and then 1 meal. Is that a good thing?
See, you're getting into the point where, when are you doing that? Are you eating a full breakfast and then you're just trying to do less carbohydrates in the afternoon and replacing it?
Maybe calorie restriction?
Yeah, calorie restriction. That's going to be a little different if you're trying to limit calories. And then also keep in mind, if you are doing that, you have to have a specific reason why you're doing that. And it does work. I've seen it work where you're limiting your carbohydrates, increasing your protein. At the same time, there's a healthy balance in there because, carbohydrates, they're, far and wide. A banana has sugar in it, but fruits are good for you. And I think people kind of sometimes forget that, all carbs are evil. They really aren't. It's the processed food. That's the one that's going to be the killer right there. It's too many processed foods. And, you take someone who lives on a farm and eats whole foods and vegetables and meat that they grow and vegetables and fruit, they're healthy. They're very healthy because there's so many amino acids, antioxidants. It's real food. And so real food is what's important, as I tell people. But adding protein helps that satiety, helps slow in, the carbohydrate getting into your system, keeps your blood sugar more stable. So that's where I like the protein to be used.
When you think about farmers too, because at the very beginning of the show I mentioned about our Fayette County Fair is going on today, and we have kids that do 4-H and they raise these animals. That's not easy work. So,
no.
We have 4 kids that do 4-H and farms in our family, and listen, those people are up from 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes they don't go to bed at night till 10 or 11 o'clock with the lights on the tractor. So, that's hard work. So they need those proteins to supply those muscles. How important is exercise? Thinking of that, if you're trying to lose weight, how important is trying to do some type of exercise during your weight loss regimen?
I tell people this all the time. Think about it. If your body is used to not being in motion, then you train it to store fat and to put weight on. If you find an activity, especially with the weather being so nice, if it's a walk, if it's doing calisthenics, if it's going to the gym, now you're training your body to be in motion. And when you're in motion, that's when your metabolism goes up. So it is vital to include that, but it's not, obviously, what you eat is super important. So balancing that is important. Finding some kind of activity where you're moving, and that's training your system to put on muscle, increase metabolism, so you're not storing fat.
Green tea has always been, and I know I didn't mention this one to you, so I hope I'm not blindsiding you, but green tea has always been one of those supplements that has been known for its thermogenic process, and then with L-theanine helping you to calm and relax, and seems to work real well with people with weight loss, and then the caffeine, of course, helps also. Are you a proponent of using green tea as a weight loss supplement?
Green tea has so many benefits. There's hundreds of studies on green tea, from heart health to blood sugar regulation to metabolism to antioxidants, and even like taking just a small amount of green tea is about 2 to 3 pounds over 12 weeks, which you don't think is a lot, but you got to remember, inch by inch is cinch, yard by yard is hard. If you lose 3 pounds a month, you look at that throughout the year, you're going to have a really healthy weight. And then also green tea helps the insulin receptors move around better, so you have more stable blood sugar.
So it helps.
Another thing.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So it helps with insulin resistance?
Exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Because it's a natural antioxidant, so it helps keep those less inflamed. When you decrease inflammation, your body's going to be less stressed, and it's going to have that's what green tea is great. It has the caffeine, but it also has theanine in it, which is relaxing. And so you're getting the benefit of increased energy, but it's nice and smooth, and you don't feel jittery. So it's a great product to take. It's been around obviously for centuries, and it has. I mean, I probably could pull up 300 studies on it alone.
Wow. Okay. I know it's all clear back to when Gary Cornelius was on my show, and we've been on the radio, so I think 41 years now. So, we've been talking about green tea's benefits, I would imagine, all the way back. So I agree with you. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of articles on green tea and its benefit. Ranging, like you said, from weight loss to whatever. I mean, it's just amazing.
And it does one other really cool thing. It has something called catechin. Yeah.
Yes.
Catechin. It's always a hard one for me, but it specifically helps decrease the enzymes that cause you to absorb fat, and so that specifically it helps decrease that fat absorption.
That is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot like apple cider vinegar and Citramax, like the Garcinia. That's actually what they do also. They keep that fat absorption and fat, storage to a minimum. So that's another thing that does that also. That works a lot like green tea.
Okay, so that opens up for a whole different subject. How can apple cider vinegar help you lose weight?
So apple cider vinegar obviously is very alkalizing on the system, so it's really good to keep inflammation down. It's also really good for gut health too, but it specifically is helping with blood sugar regulation. So it's helping keep that blood sugar more constant in your system. And then as far as weight loss is concerned, it helps suppress appetite, helps increase metabolism, and then reduces the fat storage. So, and it's also, if you think about it, it's a functional food. You can drink apple cider vinegar, but you can also take the supplement too, so you get the benefit of without having to drink apple cider vinegar, which is not the best tasting in the world, but it's doable.
I don't know. You do that shot of vinegar, it's like, whew. Yeah, okay, got that down. So you can use the capsules then before meals to get the same response, I guess, from mixing a tablespoon or whatever to water, like they, would recommend, like before a meal, you could use the capsules instead?
Yeah, you can use the capsules instead. They're just going to be a concentrated form of apple cider vinegar, and so it's an easy way, because obviously you're not going to walk around with a bottle of apple cider vinegar with you all day.
Yeah.
But I do like doing the liquid like at night, because it's alkalizing, so it's helping get your that inflammation down, and that's a perfect time to do that when you're going to sleep, because now you have less inflammation. You've got that good gut health going on. You have heart health with that. So that's where you repair is at night. So doing apple cider vinegar, like the real drink at night's really good too.
So you want to make sure that the one that you're using has the mother in it then?
That's right, the mother.
Okay, so the mother is that good fermented bacteria, correct? That is in when they process the apples to make the vinegar?
That's exactly right, because in the U.S. we have very few fermented foods, and you got Japanese that have natto, and then you got kimchi, you got sauerkraut. Those fermented foods are good at alkalizing your system, but basically is getting you less inflammation, less fat storage. For instance, apple cider vinegar, it actually helps also with cholesterol and triglycerides and those sorts of things too. So that's another benefit, is helping the liver function better, because when you're losing weight, what's going to be working really hard is your liver, trying to break down those fats and all the stuff that comes after that. So you want to keep your liver healthy too, and that's also benefiting from that also.
So the best time to use apple cider vinegar supplements, whether it's the liquid or capsules, is before the meals?
Before the meal, yeah, throughout the day.
Okay. And if you use it at night, like you said, to help with that inflammation and so forth, is that are you talking like right before bedtime?
Yeah, right before bedtime. Exactly right.
Okay. If somebody has acid reflux, is that a problem? Because I'll be honest with you, I have people that use apple cider vinegar and it helps their acid reflux.
It helps great, because you're talking about healthy. You're getting that healthy food in your system that's promoting good gut bacteria, and also it's very quenching. But yeah, I think it's like a little Amish bottle. I can't remember. That's got it's for heartburn, and it's got apple cider vinegar in it, and it works almost immediately.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I listen. Like I said, I have a lot of people, and we have that particular product you're talking about. Okay, so you also mentioned Garcinia and some other things. Bluebonnet has a product called Skinny Garcinia, and it's for weight loss. Its formulation is thermogenic. It helps with metabolism, fat burner, appetite. How do you like Bluebonnet's product? And do you? I guess I shouldn't ask that, because you're a representative of Bluebonnet. But have you used it with people, and the results, are they getting good results? I have probably about 10 people using it, and they get really good results.
Yeah, basically Garcinia is Citramax, and we're not the only ones that provide that for our customers. You probably have a few different varieties of them.
I do.
And the reason why Citramax is so interesting is it's been around 25 plus years. And a lot of times when someone comes in and wants a metabolite of those sorts, there's always this negative side effect, because, like for instance, like fen-phen back in the day and all those, yeah, it'll increase your metabolism, but it'll cause you to be jittery, it'll cause you to have other issues, increase heart rate. So those things are not a natural way. Citramax doesn't do that. It does, like you say, increase metabolism, but it also does different things. It decreases the amount of your body's ability to store fat. That's one of the things that it does. It's really important. it increases serotonin. When you increase serotonin, you're less hungry and you're happier. So when you're dieting, sometimes, you're not in the best mood. So,
Oh, no,
so
you're right
Garcinia
there.
Garcinia is a great product to take because you're keeping your body, you're getting your metabolism up, your serotonin levels are going up, which means you're not as hungry, but you're in a better mood. And you're keeping your body from storing as much fat as it generally would do without feeling jittery.
So is the L-carnitine that's in the Garcinia, is that's what's helping with the fat metabolism? Because if you would research Garcinia or L-carnitine, that's what it talks about is fat metabolism and energy production. Is that what's doing it, or is it the Garcinia itself or is it both?
It's actually both, yeah, using them together. Carnitine's the most abundant amino acid in muscle tissue. So, again, the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you're going to burn by doing nothing. And so that's one benefit. You're also feeding the muscles with carnitine, which is increasing metabolism. So carnitine's a great one. I love the combination in there because it's instead of just having one thing in there that's helping, it's a couple things in there. And again, you're not getting that jittery feeling. You're not going to feel like you can't sleep. It's like I said, it's been around 25 plus years, and it's got a great track record. I definitely encourage people to try it because our customers have been taking it for years and years and years and have done really well with it.
One of the other ingredients that are in there, I think that is not talked about too much, that I really think needs to get its debut is chromium, and the benefit that chromium has with blood sugar levels. Because one of the things that I find when I diet, I'll get that up and down roller coaster, of blood sugar levels. When I'm dieting, so I have to do like the small meal type things with protein, but chromium can help with that situation, right?
Yeah, chromium is well documented to help keep your blood sugar more stable, and so that's one of the things I talked about a little bit earlier. Is like if your blood sugar gets too high, that's when you're going to store fat. If it's going to get too low, that's when you're going to have the tendency of storing fat. So the nice thing about this product, having the Citramax and having the carnitine in there, you're raising those serotonin levels and you're stabilizing blood sugar. So now you're not going to feel that hunger pain all the time throughout the day because you've got that higher amount of serotonin and your blood sugar is being better regulated with the chromium in there.
So if someone came to you today and said, Randy, I need to get off 25 pounds, what would you advise them?
Well, we got to look at what they're eating first, obviously.
Okay.
And their activity levels. I always try to approach this as, okay, first and foremost, you do want to have some kind of activity. And that can be limiting for people because they might, if they're holding 25 extra pounds, it might hurt their joints and it might be uncomfortable. So you have to find something in those instances. For instance, swimming is great for anybody who has a lot of physical issues like joint pain and those sorts of things because it takes weight off the body but keeps you active. So, in fact, Jack LaLanne, every morning, he would swim, I think, something like 5 miles or something ridiculous. I met him.
No, wow.
Yeah, and he swam every morning. I met him when he was almost in his 90s, and he still swam every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And he said he loved doing that because it didn't put any strain on his joints, and so that's something, that's important. And then we talked about, like, eating from the farm. That's obviously having those healthy foods. And then also, when are you eating those foods? And then adding a supplement or adding supplements that are going to help you get to where you want to be. And I don't like when someone says, hey, I got to lose 10 pounds in, 2 weeks. That's not really a healthy way. I know sometimes we have to try to want to do that. But if you lose 1 pound a month, that's 12 pounds over the year. If you lose 2 pounds a month, it's 24 pounds. So think of it long term and go that route with it. Because think about it, 2 pounds a month, that's very doable. And it's also a healthy way, because you don't want to lose a bunch of weight and then gain on more weight than you did beforehand. And that's a little bit of the problem with the injections now these days. Yes, you're going to lose weight fast, but the problem is that's not a normal way to lose weight. And then the other part is, if you quit taking the shots, you gain it right back.
Yeah,
You
and
change your
isn't
lifestyle.
isn't that the situation though? No matter what diet you might be doing, if you're losing that weight really fast, Randy, when you stop that diet or you stop the shots, like you said, you're going to gain that weight back, because really, in reality, probably a lot of the weight that you're losing is muscle.
Exactly right. You're not just losing fat. You are losing muscle, and muscle weighs a lot more than fat. And so you have to take that into consideration and more look at it as a long term. That's really the healthiest way to do it. But at the same time, I know sometimes people want to kind of get that quick effect, so that it kind of motivates them to start changing lifestyle patterns. So I understand there's a purpose for it there in that regard. But at the end of the day, you got to get up and moving, and you got to eat good food.
Well, swimming, this is a perfect time, like you said, of the year to even swim. Swimming uses every muscle in the body as you're doing it. I know that people that have fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, they'll recommend swimming to them so that they're using those muscles and using those joints on a regular basis, because of that inflammatory situation that they're in. So I think swimming is a great idea. I do swimming every day. So not in the winter, but during the summer, absolutely. I'm not swimming in no ice cubes. Sorry, people, ain't happening.
Yeah, or you could do some cold plunging.
No, not doing it. No. Hey, listen, I do have a nephew though, that he has one of those blow up like little pools or spas, and that's what he does. He does that in the wintertime. He fills it full of ice, and he bodybuilds and stuff, and so he does that cold plunge. And I'm like, more power to you there, dude. This one is not jumping in the ice.
I actually do that too during the winter. My gym, when I do yoga and stuff, after I go do hot yoga, I'll go jump in a cold pool.
Wow.
I tell you what, it'll wake you up. That's for sure.
I bet it does. Oh, that's funny. We just had a radio show 2 weeks ago about yoga and the benefit of yoga, and it is amazing, the stretching and the breathing and so forth. Yoga is such a good benefit. I advise everybody, if you haven't tried yoga, you need to try it. You will do it. My daughter and I do it at home. So it really is a good thing to do. So yeah, I agree with you.
And it is a great way to get in shape.
Yeah.
It really is. Because it's going to be very low impact. You're using a lot of body weight, and you're also breathing, which is causing you to, it's helping upstairs. And it's really important to get all that stress off of us, especially in this day and age. So much stress. Stress causes you to store fat. So anything that helps de-stress us, and yoga is a great example of that. That's going to be a healthy also part of a weight loss regimen, and also stretching out those muscles so you have less injuries. I'm with you. I love yoga. I think anybody can add it, and I've seen the benefits myself.
Yeah, I find too, though, it's something that, Randy, a lot of people, like you said, if you're a couch potato out there and you don't really exercise and stuff like that, you don't have to jump to the gym and do an hour of training and kill yourself. You want to start off slow. And then increase your times of these exercises, whether it's swimming or it's yoga or whatever. Even yoga, you don't want to jump into hot yoga right off the bat. I can guarantee you that's not a good thing to do. But, start slowly with these things and incorporate them into your regimen. I think anybody can achieve those goals. Do you agree?
Absolutely. You just have to take the long-term look at it, and then put together a plan for yourself. In fact, come to the store and add what supplements are important to help you on your journey, and then figure out a plan to get your body moving and get your stress down. And
take the plunge.
Take the plunge.
Take the plunge. Hey, Randy, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
You guys have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Pro wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan has died.
The incredible Hulk Hogan, who entered to the Eye of the Tiger.
He helped transform pro wrestling. Fight announcer Curran Batia says part of his appeal was his relatability.
He crossed over into the mainstream, and that was because of reality shows like Hogan Knows Best, where we got to meet his family.